sight into Fnatic's 13th straight win.
Thank you, QuickShot. I'm joined here by Reckless from Fnatic after their win, and it was very hard fought. And I do want to ask you about the early game because you lost a lot of kills and were down a lot of gold very early on.
Yeah, basically we had a level 1 strategy going into the game, judging off their previous level 1 strategies. So we just tried to form a strategy towards what they were usually doing, and then they ended up doing another strategy that, in 12 games they did a specific thing, and then in this game they changed up completely. So we got kind of caught off guard with that, and we ended up getting 2 kills level 1, and then they had a huge advantage in pretty much every lane to begin with. And aside of that, we had weak matchups on pretty much every lane as well. So it was really hard to keep the team solid in early game without getting too snowballed on. So sometimes, when you win these games, it's kind of hard to tell if you win because you're the better team, and that's why you come back into the game and make these clutch decisions where you get towers for nothing, or if they are just not good enough to keep us off those towers, or the ways we can come back into the game. So it's kind of hard to tell, but I still feel like we kind of did what we could with the champions we had and the situation we were in. So I'm pretty happy about that win.
Well, I did want to ask you about how you just identified those opportunities, because yes, you were down in the early game, but how do you say, oh, this is the team fight that we need right now?
Well, basically all the champions in the game have their own power spikes, right? So if I'm strong at a certain moment, maybe the enemy is also strong, but he has more farm than me, so he's obviously stronger. But in this type of scenario, for example, for my role, I'm strong at level 11 with Corki, so we tried to work around that, even though Lucian was 2 or 3 levels up on me. And then also just very, very solid shot calling from Yellowstar, I think kept us in the game, and he was making sure we made the right decisions at the right times instead of just going for a fight that we were not going to win and then ending up giving even more kills than we were already giving, and then that would make the game impossible to come back in. So definitely I think Yellowstar shot calling kept us in the game and allowed us to take these towers for free and eventually come back enough so we could win a team fight and then turn that into a Baron.
Yeah, well, it was very impressive. This is your second win now over H2K, but moving forwards tomorrow, you're up against Origin. Do you think they're going to be a stronger or weaker opponent than H2K today?
I've always thought H2K is a tad higher than Origin, but at the same time, I don't think either team is a bad team in any sense. So definitely, I think tomorrow will be as tough as today. But at the same time, I feel like H2K had a very solid plan going into the game, so maybe I have to expect the same from Origin, or maybe they just go with what they their standard style. But we'll see. We'll just make sure not to die twice level 1, and then maybe we can have an even game.
Yeah, well, we will see indeed, Reckless. Thank you very much for joining me. We're going to throw it over to the analyst desk to break down that crazy game.
Thank you so much. Well, first I got to ask Ducky, of course, about what Reckless just said. H2K a little bit better than OG. Tomorrow, the matchup. What are your thoughts?
Well, it's his opinion. So I think we're a tad higher than H2K right now, but this is mainly because I think that H2K is slumping a little bit, and I think it also showed both in the draft and in the in-game decision-making. I just hope that we can be a little bit more solid with our strategy tomorrow, and I think we will give Fnatic tomorrow a harder match.
Well, as you say, the draft from H2K in this one, let's get the team comp graphic up on the screen, because you guys, if I could have recorded it, you guys were just quite disappointed in H2K's draft. That's understating.
Let's start off with the bans, because sort of the plan from H2K here is target Reignover. Reignover, if you look at the champions he played in the jungle so far, were mainly on the Gragas and the Rek'Sai side and the Olaf side. So if you ban the Rek'Sai and the Olaf and you first rotate the Gragas, you force Reignover on something new. I hope that H2K knew it was the Rengar, because it was something that was very visible from Reignover's solo queue accounts. And yeah, they pretty much wanted to push Reignover out of his comfort zone and onto a non-tier jungle while getting the Gragas. So that part of the strategy was actually really solid. But then it gets wacky.
Oh, let me start where it gets rocky, right? In the second rotation, they just pick a Gnar and a Shen. And it makes very little sense, because it's not contested picks. It's not picks that are going to disappear from your hand simply because the enemy team has revealed the Rumble already. While in reality, the pick that was contested was the Jace. I think we talked about the Jace for a straight 5 minutes about how it was contested, and it was just shocking that it just passed away through the ban and pick.
Yeah.
It starts off with, first up, we were thinking that Jace might be a first rotation from Fnatic. And then in the second rotation, H2K had the opportunity to go Alistair Jace, and they would have set up for such a good team comp. And then they end up also giving away the Jace when Fnatic already has the Corki and the Rumble in the first rotation, which somewhat hints towards this poke-style comp. And they also didn't pick Engage. They just had no Engage. There was a Shenton and a Gragas, completely unreliable. And you have to know this is coming. Like, Fabian is infamous for his Jace.
Yeah, so you guys were ready to throw in the towel for H2K when the game started, let's be honest here. And then this happens. Let's pull it up on the screen. Reckless talked about it. We scouted H2K, we know what they're going to do, and they mixed it up. We have it fast-forwarded here, because up until now, everything's fine.
Two things I want to pay attention to is the Jace in the mid lane, who's not moving one bit, so there's definitely no support that he could, for example, walk over the Wraith Brush in the team. And then Reignover completely, I don't know what he...
Reignover commits Sudoku. That's basically it. Like, no, that is such a solo queue move, and I bet he just bit his tongue after he did that.
Making a number puzzle there and end up giving 2 kills to Gnar. So much like when Fnatic shut down W7D1 in their last meeting, they said, now you get a head start from us, but we're going to shut you down after. Let's get the second replay up on the screen. At Baron, Ducky, you had a lot to say about Fnatic's Baron control, but is this Fnatic's call around Baron, or is this H2K's mistake?
There's two main things that's happening here, which is Lulex is completely split from the team. Gnar has to TP where Rumble is already there, and Lucian on the top side is doing nothing. Who needed an absolutely amazing Rumble ult from max distance over the wall? It was just, it completely won the team fight alone. And after that, I feel like, I don't know, Fnatic's communication, their shot calling, everything was just on point, and H2K was too split. It was unclear what they were doing, and it really cost them the game here.
I would have to say that it really showed the strategical flaw of H2K's ban and pick right here, simply because they had a situation where they just had to push out bottom, let Gnar create some pressure before they venture into the enemy jungle, and they ventured into the enemy jungle, forced a TP off of Gnar, and it kind of groups them up, because in a group situation they will lose. In the laning phases alone, they were stronger, and that's how they should have played it out.
Yeah, but they didn't, and Fnatic still undefeated here. Well, there's still more LCS coming your way today as SK Gaming goes up against Gambit to try and keep their playoff hopes alive. We'll meet you back here right after this.
Alista and Rengar is looping good here.
Okay, I take Rengar.
Okay.
Oh no!
Shut up, your Rengar is sick. Go.
Huni will be dropping, but not before he puts the equalizer out. Reignover's leaped back in with Thrill of the Hunt.
Victor is dead, Victor is dead. Gnar?
Gnar.
Gnar, can we?
Yeah,
we can. 3 versus 4, 3 versus 4, 3
Lucian?
versus 4, 3 versus 4. Gnar?
Shen.
Nice!
Shen.
Culling's coming over from the side. Red team Baron! Fnatic get Baron! There's 2 more kills for Huni. It's a double. Equalizer comes out and W7D1 is down already. Lulex is looking for Feathervin, but he's not going to find him. Reignover leaps in. 13-0. They equal the longest winning streak in LCS history.